Hey there, everybody. Gotta be honest with you, this is not the first time I've done this video. It's hard. Always something goes wrong. It takes me about 3 takes to do these. This is a big one. So, a little frustrated. It's been a rough day. Real cold and really windy and spitting rain, so I've been waiting for better weather, and it doesn't seem to be showing, so I'm gonna run with it here. So, we're gonna do a little canoe camp cooking. Which is one of my favorite parts of canoeing. Simply put, you have the ability to pack a lot more than you would in, say, a backpacking trip or a mountaineering trip, and food can really be a big part of your canoe camp. Obviously, that's not what you're always looking to do, and sometimes the objective may be to make a lot of miles, and you're traveling light. You can have a pretty bland, dehydrated meal plan. But for me, you know, I'm the cook at my family's home, and my cooking really started, yes, I grew up in a very self-sufficient home, so I knew a little bit about cooking, but really my love for cooking came from cooking in the backcountry for large groups of people. So I got a few tips and tricks. You know, we're shooting for 3,000 to 5,000 calories per day, and trying to have a meal plan that is satiating to the palate. And, you know, for me, I like to combine a little bit of my wildcrafting knowledge and do some foraging on trips. I'm not going to teach you about the foraging, although I'm going to use some foraged plants here today for this breakfast that I'm making. From where I'm sitting right now, I can see wild nettle, ramps, trout lilies, burdock, what else do I see? Oh, and fiddleheads. In quite a bit of numbers. So if you know what you're doing, recognize that alluvial plains and riparian areas of rivers are usually rich in wild foods. So you can use them to supplement your meals. I wouldn't rely upon them. So from there, you know, cleanliness is hygiene is extremely important. People you know, have to go to the bathroom when they're in the woods, and they oftentimes, it's a different and awkward situation, and they may not actually be as hygienic as they need to be. So I make sure that obviously I am clean when I cook, but also all my participants, I'll put some real hot water on them before they eat, and I'll really ask them to wash with soap. It's for everybody's well-being. So today I'm going to make an eggs Florentine, and I learned this recipe when I lived in Idaho at the base of the Idaho side of the Tetons, where I worked at a bar, but I was actually a short order breakfast cook. And they actually had some pretty good stuff on the menu. So it was a bar that actually ran 24 hours a day, but in the morning it was a breakfast place. And I learned this pretty simple recipe that usually takes spinach. I'm not going to use spinach. I'm going to use nettle today. And I've got a pot of water here that's boiling pretty well. Cranked it up, and I'm going to pump up the old green box stove a little. Nettle's extremely high in vitamin A and C and iron, and really sought after by wild medicine enthusiasts, but also by foragers. So this is the young nettle shoot right there, and I get stung by it a little bit, but it's super minor. I'm just going to garble that off, put it quickly into this boiling water real fast, garble it, break it off, just to blanch that stuff real quick. So again, it's actually, I think, better than spinach. I like spinach, but I think it's even better. And while that's happening, I'm just going to take a few, I think I have too many here, wild leeks, which I just picked up. They can be really strong. They're usually one of the edibles that people first get introduced to in the field, which is a good thing. And then I'm going to take my bag with the rest of the groceries that I'm going to use. So keep in mind, you know, all my food, I've got two days worth of food in here, with a real basic oatmeal breakfast, instant oatmeal, just add water. You know, you can go to the grocery store and you can get all kinds of just add water pastas, hamburger helper type things, you know, oatmeals, instant potatoes, whatever. And, you know, that stuff's great. It's easily packable. I do break down a lot of my my packaging and condense it in Ziploc bags or what have you. But then it's all labeled by meal, so I'm not searching for different things. So everything I need for this meal is right in here. I'm going to use my Canadian belt knife. Awesome in the kitchen, awesome in the field. And I think I'll just take like 3 of these. And then I'm going to use my, let's see. So I'm just going to use a Ziploc bag. I usually have a cutting board for the top of my Wanigan, but I failed to bring it. So I'll take the ingredients out and put them kind of in a lunar fashion around my stove. And again, those Ziploc bags are totally indispensable. So pull out this, and I'm going to use this, just kind of quickly dice up some leaves of wild ram. This is just going to be for one person. I'm running out of ingredients because I've already done this video once. So hopefully this one's even better. Kind of discard this stuff. I'm real careful about throwing away. Obviously no trash gets thrown in the woods, but nothing that I bring in. However, this literally came from this forest. So I'm just going to toss that to the side. I learned a long time ago to wear leather gloves when I'm cooking. Burns are super common, and unfortunately people in the backcountry oftentimes get burned actually in the groin, which is clearly very, very dangerous. So this is just about done. The nettles have a beautiful vibrant green to them, and the broth that comes out of it is awesome in tea. So I'm actually going to strain that out today, but normally I would not. I would throw some honey in there and offer it to anybody that was around me. So I'm just going to put this to the side, and I'm going to throw on my trusty cast iron skillet here. Let that heat up. Here's a big trick, maybe exclusive to me, but I bring olive oil cooking spray with me on every camping trip that I possibly can, especially if I have a group. It's super lightweight. It just saves so much hassle. And I liberally spray it on my cast iron, which is going to make stuff cook more even and faster and also not stick to the pan. Cast iron, obviously I'm not bringing that backpacking or mountaineering, but I have the joy of bringing it on a canoe trip. So I'm going to just kind of wait to see that this is hot. I'm actually going to sneak around this camera, make sure this is recording while that's heating up. Looks like we're recording. Phew. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to use Swiss cheese here. Just kind of slice up some Swiss cheese. This is a real simple recipe, but tastes really good and can get some excellent reviews. Place that to the side here. And I think we're just about ready. I'm going to take and strain out the nettles. Again, I wouldn't normally do this, but and honestly should probably use my leather glove there. An old guide's trick. The OG, the old guide. All right. So now I'm going to just take out and kind of caramelize these nettles. So the nice thing about canoeing is, again, you can bring a cooler, and with technologies and coolers today, that's gotten exponentially better. So you can carry things like hard cheeses or dairy products that don't spoil too fast. In this case, I actually do have eggs. I'm using Egg Mate, so these are eggs in a carton. No, I don't use these at home. I actually have chickens. But in this little pint carton here, I have 10 eggs, which is pretty amazing. And I don't have to add any dairy to them, so that's very helpful. And, you know, I learned this about using these eggs on the outer coast of Alaska when I was guiding week-long canoe trips. This time of year, I'm just not worried about stuff spoiling, really. It's cold. The water is colder than 50 degrees right now, and I'll make a little refrigerator and keep my stuff in the water. But again, you can get powdered eggs. If you like, you can basically get powdered anything. Hard cheese lasts for a long time. It might get a little slimy, but it lasts for a long time. So this is starting to look pretty good. Like I said, liberal amounts of nonstick spray. Pump this a little bit. I'm going to sprinkle in just a little bit of wild leek here. Really blowy. I hope you can hear my voice. And then I'm going to place on some Swiss cheese. And I'm going to just kind of wait for that cheese to melt. So I'm really just trying to hit the basic nutritional groups, which of course are carbs and sugars, proteins and fats. And in this case, I've got loads of protein in my eggs, and I've got great fats in my my cheese. And from there, I have all kinds of healthy sugars in those vegetables, as well as vitamins, minerals, and fiber, which really comes into play here. So we're just gonna pour in some of these eggs after I spray it again. Waiting for that cheese to melt. It's almost ready. And I may also have make some bannock. A lot of times I'll make biscuits in my reflector oven the night before, just to have a little bit of those hollow carbs, which actually are pretty important. And I'm not really worried about quote unquote eating super healthy on these trips. I eat healthy in general, but you're expending a lot of energy, and as long as you're not eating total trash, you're going to be in good shape. So pour my eggs on here, which are almost instantly going to start cooking. As they cook, I'll begin my cleanup process. It's just so important to constantly stay neat. Sheathe my knife, which probably already should have been sheathed. I'm going to put away my eggs back into the bag that I have them here. Throw a little more cheese on there. Put this back in the bag. I have another actual container here that now takes my trash. That becomes pretty important. And notice everything's labeled with duct tape and a magic marker. So this is almost ready here. I can tip the cast iron. And then I take my spatch and I gently lift up the egg. You probably can't see that, but you'll see it in a minute. And by lifting the egg, I allow the uncooked egg on the surface to slip down beneath. We're just about ready. So at this rate, what I'm going to do is actually flip this thing like an omelet. Looking pretty good. Give me a second. I'm actually going to get some garnish. All right, so here we go. Put that into my pan. Throw on a little garnish there. Dogtooth violet or trout lily, which is an edible wildflower or spring ephemeral. Actually quite gorgeous. Let that cool down. I'm going to turn off my stove. Remember, the cast iron remains hot for a long time. Cast iron, when you clean it, you just wipe it out. You do not use water on it. The oils actually season the pan. And when I eat my meal, I'm going to be sure that I eat it all, every last scrap, which makes dishwashing extremely easy and puts less food waste into the forest. Got that one. Pop this back in there. So again, ensuring everybody's hands clean, I am going to, I always say make everything Pinterest worthy. If it looks good, it probably is good. So here you go, eggs Florentine. Eggs Florentine, which is, again, nettle, a little bit of leek, caramelized, with melted Swiss cheese, and then eggs on top. And of course, I would have coffee brewing as well. So this evening, I hope to do another wild, not necessarily wild food, but another canoe expedition food lesson. And I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope that it developed some questions for you. And I hope I didn't miss too much. And I hope this recorded. All right. Hope you're doing well. Bye-bye.